Hello and welcome back. In the last session, we looked at some advanced techniques for your Docker file. We looked at how we can use multi-stage builds to reduce our Docker image size. We looked at the difference between ARG and ENV, and then we also looked at the difference between CMD and entry point. So far, we have become experts at building optimized, efficient Docker images. But an image stuck on your local machine isn't very useful for collaboration, CI/CD, or deployment. It's like baking an amazing cake, but only you can eat it. We need a way to share our images with the world, our team, or our production servers. That's where Docker registries comes in. In this session, we will learn how to share our images with the world. We will look at how to push our images to public registries and also how to push our images to private registries, including the massive Docker Hub. We will also learn how to run our own private registry. Now, before we dive into the details, if you found this session helpful, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow and allows me to keep making more videos just like this one. Let's get started with this. Now, the most famous Docker registry is Docker Hub. Think of it as GitHub for Docker images. It's where you find official images like Nginx, Node, and Ubuntu, and where you can share your own. So here, this is the URL hub.docker.com, and you will need to create an account to get started with this. So you can go to sign up and you can follow the steps. So you can give your, so in your case, it will be a personal account. You can also connect it with your existing Google account or your GitHub account, or you can fill in the details and you can sign up. I already have my account, so let me quickly log into it. So this is my Docker Hub account. So this is my personal account that I am using. So you will need to have your account to get started with this. So this is the most famous Docker registry you have, and you can use this to use the existing images. And again, you don't need to have an account to use the existing images like the Alpine or the Nginx. Only if you want to store your own images, that's when you will need the Docker Hub account. Now, getting your image from your machine to Docker Hub is a simple three-step process. You will need to log into Docker Hub, you will need to tag the image, and then finally push the image. First is you need to authenticate. You can do that by using the Docker login command. So let's say, for example, you have built an image. For example, let's say this particular image, and you want to push this to Docker Hub. So for this, you will use the Docker login command. Now there are two ways that you can log into your Docker Hub. You can either do it from the command line where you can enter your username or password, and you can also use your web-based login. So if it's a command line, then we can do this Docker login -u, your username, which is your Docker Hub username. In my case, this is my username. If not, you can use the web-based login as well. So for that, you can either hit enter over here, which will open up the browser on your machine, or you can simply use this URL and just enter the authentication code, which in my case is this one. And this is another way to log into your Docker Hub. All right, and done. So now my authentication is completed. So you can see your device is now connected. So you can see login is succeeded. So that's one way. And like I said, the other ways you can also use this. So in my case, the username, and you can give your password. So, like you will need to create a personal access token, same as how we do in your GitHub. We will need to create your token. So for that, you can go to your account, you can go to settings, and here you can see personal access tokens, and you can generate a new one. So give it a name, you can set your expiration. So let's say demo, and let's say expires in 30 days. And what is the access you want to give? So I want to give read and write only, and then generate, and I should be able to see my token, right? So we'll take that, we'll provide that here, and done. So my login is succeeded. So either way, you can either log in using the web-based login or from the command line. The choice is yours, but that's your step one. You will need to log into your Docker Hub account. Once you're authenticated, you're ready to push, but you can't just push any local image. So here, for example, I cannot just go ahead and push this. Docker Hub needs to know where this image needs to be put in. So this is where tagging comes in. So for that, we can use this Docker tag command. So the Docker tag command does not create a new image. It simply creates a new reference to your existing image. The syntax would be Docker tag your source image colon tag and then target image colon tag. So a proper tag for Docker Hub must follow a specific format. So it should be your registry, like in this case, your Docker Hub, your username, which is your Docker Hub username, and then your image name colon tag. So here, like I said, the registry is for if you're using Docker Hub, then it will be docker.io, and this is often optional. Then username would be your Docker Hub username, and image name would be the name you want to give the repository on Docker Hub, and then the tag would be your version identifier, which defaults to latest. So let's see this in action. So here, like I said, I have this image on my local machine. So here you can see the tag, it says after. So now we can retag it for our Docker Hub account. So like I said, my username is djr uploads. So let's run. So Docker tag, and this is what I want to tag. So colon after, and then we will tag this as djr uploads slash colon after. So now if you see, my image is tagged. So it simply creates a reference. It does not create a new image. It simply creates a reference to your existing image. Finally, with the image correctly tagged, we can push it using docker push command. So here I can say docker push, and then my newly tagged image, and this will start pushing it. So here you can see that's my registry, my username, and then my image name. This will push it to my Docker Hub. So Docker will upload the image layers to Docker Hub, and once it is done, you can navigate to your Docker Hub account. So let's go to home. So here you can go to hub, and then you can see repositories. So click on repositories, and here you can see this is what we have pushed. So you can see that's my username, my image name, and you can see when this was pushed, what is this and what is the visibility. So in this case it is public, and if you click on the image, you should be able to see the tags as well. So you can see there's my tag. So if you want, you can push multiple images, and you can do many things, but as of now we are just talking about pushing the image. And now my push is, the image is available for anyone to see and download the image to their local machine. So at this point, the image is publicly available, and anyone can use this image to run the container on their local machine. Now, what if you don't want to share your image with the world? What if it contains proprietary code or sensitive configuration? This is where private registries come into play. While Docker Hub offers private repositories, there's a whole ecosystem of other registries, each with their own strengths. So you can create a private registry in Docker Hub as well, or you can use other options that are available. So like for example, here I can go to repositories, and here you can see create repository, and you can see you can make it private. So under the free tier you get one private repository. So I've already created one, so you can see using one of one. So I can delete this, and then I can create a private repository, but you can use Docker Hub as well to create your private registries. Now let's talk about other options that are available. So first, there are cloud native Git integrated registries. So we have the GitHub Container Registry, or GHCR. So this is tightly integrated with GitHub. If your code is on GitHub, it's very natural to push your build images to GitHub registry. Your packages are linked directly to your repository, and you can fine tune permissions using GitHub's same user and team management. And then you have GitLab Container Registry, which is built directly into GitLab. If you use GitLab CI/CD, it's seamless. Every project gets its own image registry automatically, and it's a fantastic all-in-one solution. Then there are enterprise grade self-hosted registries. You have Harbor. This is a fully featured open source registry. It's not just for Docker images, it also supports Helm charts and other OCI artifacts. Harbor provides advanced features like role-based access control, vulnerability scanning, image signing, and replication between registries. It's the go-to choice for large organizations. Then you have AWS ECR, Google Container Registry, and Azure Container Registry. These are your cloud providers, all have their own fully managed services. They integrate beautifully with their respective cloud ecosystems, often offering private networking and tight IAM permissions. The key takeaway is that you're not logged into Docker Hub. You can choose a registry that best fits your workflow, security requirements, and existing infrastructure. Now, sometimes you need a registry completely under your control on your own infrastructure without any cloud dependencies. Maybe it's for air-gapped environments or for super fast local builds in a CI system. Well, guess what? Docker team provides an official image for exactly this, the registry :2 image. Let's run our own private registry in less than a minute. So it's as simple as running this command docker run -dit-p, and let's say we will be running those on port 2000. Let's give this a name. So let's call this as my private registry, and the image would be registry :2. And let's wait for this. So it was able to find the image, it is downloading it, and done. So now if we look at the container, so here is my container. You now have a private registry running on your local machine, listening on port 5000. Now, how do we use it? The process is almost identical to Docker Hub, but with a different tag format. Since it's on our local machine and not using a standard domain like docker.io, we need to specify the host and port in the image tag. Let's take our existing image that we have. So let's say this particular image, we will take that and push it to our new local private registry. First, we will need to tag the image specifying localhost :5000 as a registry host. So let's run this command docker tag, and this is what I wanna tag, and we will tag this to localhost :5000 slash :after, and here my tagged image is created, and now we will push it. So docker push, this is what I want to push :after, and you can see my image has been pushed to my local repository, private registry. Now you can verify whether it worked by listing the repositories in our registry using its API. So we can use this curl -x, and then we can do a get http localhost :5000 /v2 /catalog, and you can see I'm able to see my repository. So it should basically return this. And to prove it's truly stored there, you can delete this image from your local machine, and you can pull it back. So let's try that. So let me delete this from here. So docker rmi :after. So let me show you here docker images, and you can see my image is deleted. Now let's try pulling that image. So docker pull localhost :5000, and it was my app :after, and you can see pulling from the repository, and I should have the image in my local machine now. There it is. Now since I'm running this on an EC2 instance, here you can see I'm able to see the repository, and this is the my app we have. So this is the path, your server IP :5000 /v2 _catalog, and I'm able to see my repository, and this is where my image is stored. So this is my own private registry running on my local machine. Now for a production setup, you would run this on a proper server with a domain name, HTTPS, which requires configuring TLS certificates and authentication. But the core concept remains this simple. This is incredibly powerful for internal development and testing. Alright, Theory is over. Let's pull this all into a little more practice with a complete end-to-end workflow. Our mission is to take an image from our local machine, share it with Docker Hub, and then run it on a completely clean system. So let's say, for example, we will build a new image. So let's see if I have a Docker file over here. Okay, let's see. Let's go to our multi-stage itself and let me see if I have a Docker file. Yeah, you know what? We can use this as an example. We will build this as an image and then we will push it. So let's do this. So Docker build -t and let's call this as demo image dot. So this should build the image on our local machine. So here I should be able to see the image, demo image. Second step is to log into your Docker Hub. So if you have not logged in already, then just run this Docker login, then -u, and then your username. So this is one option. And you can use a personal access token, or you can just run this Docker login command. And since I have already logged in, you can see it has used my existing credentials to log in. I can obviously do a logout and login once again, but you get the point, right? So you'll need to log in first. Once your login is done, you will need to tag the image to your Docker Hub username. So in our case, my username is djuploads. So let's say Docker tag, and this is what I want to tag with my Docker Hub username / the image name. So this will create a reference to your existing image, and then finally we will push this image to our Docker Hub. So Docker Hub Docker push demo image, dgr uploads / and this will start pushing the image to my Docker Hub, and this will push my image to Docker Hub, and you can see my image is pushed. Now we can verify that, so we can go to repositories, and here I should be able to see the image. So here you can see less than a minute ago. So my image is available in Docker Hub. Now to simulate a new machine or a production server, I'm going to remove all the traces of this image from my local machine. So let's say, and I'll delete all the images. So let's say Docker stop, let me stop this, and let me remove all the containers. So we will do this Docker rm Docker ps-aq. All right, and now let's remove all the images. So Docker images. Okay, let's see. Fine. So let me delete this. So manually, so Docker rmi my app : after, then we will delete this one, and let me delete this one as well. So basically I'm making my local machine clean so that we don't have any images, and done. So now I should not have any images. So my machine is clean. So we are simulating a new machine or a production machine where we don't have the images at all. Now we will now pull the image directly from our public registry, which is Docker Hub. We don't even need to be logged in to download this public image. So we will just reference this image name. So here this is what we can reference. So let's try that. So I'll say Docker pull and then the reference, and you will see that my Docker will go to Docker Hub and download that image from my Docker Hub to my local machine. And then you can go ahead and run this image as a container, and you can validate the application whether it is working or not. So the image was built locally, pushed to Docker Hub, and then we pulled that image to our local machine and then deploy the container using that image. So this is the exact same process you would use to deploy your application to a cloud server, a Kubernetes cluster, or share it with a colleague across the globe. And that's a complete life cycle of a Docker image. We can now build, optimize, share, and run our applications from anywhere. You have learned the crucial push or pull workflow with Docker Hub, explored the landscape of private registries, and even run your own private registry. This is the foundation that enables modern DevOps and microservices architecture. With these skills, you are ready to integrate Docker into your CI/CD pipelines and deployment strategies. In our next session, we will start looking at Docker Swarm and how to initialize a swarm. We will also look at Docker Swarm versus Kubernetes and when to use Docker Swarm. If you found this session helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more content, and let me know in the comment section if you have any queries. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next session.